George Washington was born in 1732 in Virginia, the eldest of 6 children, and grew up on his family's plantations. His father died when George was young, leaving him to inherit Ferry Farm, while his older half-brother, Lawrence, inherited Mount Vernon. Though he had limited formal schooling, Washington became a skilled surveyor and mapmaker, gaining early experience navigating Virginia's lands. Inspired by Lawrence's military career, Washington joined the Virginia militia, and in 1753 embarked on a dangerous mission to confront the French in the Ohio Valley. He gained both distinction and controversy during the French and Indian War, including at Fort Necessity and Braddock's defeat, learning valuable lessons in leadership, discipline, and strategy. In 1759, Washington married the wealthy widow Martha Custis, expanding his wealth and social standing. He managed Mount Vernon, diversified his crops, and became a prominent Virginian landowner. As tensions grew between the colonies and Britain, Washington entered politics, opposing British taxes and enforcing local boycotts, gradually preparing for a greater role in America's struggle for independence. When the Revolutionary War broke out in 1775, Washington was appointed Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. Despite early setbacks in New York and New Jersey, he achieved morale-boosting victories at Trenton and Princeton, endured the harsh winter at Valley Forge, and transformed his army into a disciplined fighting force. He coordinated with French allies and led the Patriots to ultimate victory at Yorktown, securing American independence. After the war, Washington presided over the Constitutional Convention, shaping the new nation's government. He was unanimously elected the first President of the United States, setting precedents for leadership, neutrality in foreign conflicts, and peaceful transitions of power. Though he had been a large slaveholder, he grew increasingly opposed to slavery, arranging for the emancipation of his own slaves upon his death in 1799. Washington's legacy endured as the father of the nation, a symbol of American independence, unity, and leadership, immortalized in monuments, the nation's capital, and the state of Washington. By 1780, the British controlled much of the South. But Washington gained new hope when Lafayette returned from France with troops and supplies, and 5,000 French soldiers under Rochambeau arrived in Rhode Island. In 1781, Washington and Rochambeau led a combined American-French army to trap Cornwallis at Yorktown. After surrounding the British and winning naval support at the Battle of the Chesapeake, Washington's forces forced Cornwallis to surrender on October 19, 1781, effectively ending major fighting in the Revolutionary War. After the war, Washington managed demobilization, quelled the Newburgh Conspiracy, and oversaw the British evacuation of New York. Following the Treaty of Paris in 1783, he resigned as Commander-in-Chief, an act celebrated as a key moment in establishing civilian control of the military. Returning to Mount Vernon, Washington focused on restoring his estate, pursuing agricultural projects, and managing his finances, while also keeping an eye on national affairs. Alarmed by Shays' rebellion and weaknesses in the Articles of Confederation, he supported a stronger central government and attended the Constitutional Convention in 1787, presiding over the proceedings and helping guide the creation and eventual ratification of the U.S. Constitution. In 1789, Washington was unanimously elected the first President of the United States, stepping away from private life once more to lead the new nation. George Washington was inaugurated as the first U.S. President on April 30, 1789, in New York City, establishing many presidential precedents, including the inaugural address, the cabinet system, and the title Mr. President. He appointed the first Supreme Court justices and key cabinet members, including Jefferson, Hamilton, Knox, and Randolph. Washington avoided political partisanship, though he generally supported Federalist policies. During his presidency, he faced major challenges such as the Whiskey Rebellion and the Northwest Indian War, maintained neutrality during the French Revolutionary Wars, and oversaw important treaties like the Jay Treaty with Britain and Pinckney's Treaty with Spain. He dealt with political factionalism in his cabinet and opposition from a partisan press. Despite initially planning to retire, Washington was re-elected unanimously in 1793. He continued to navigate domestic unrest, foreign diplomacy, and partisan conflicts. In 1796, he published his farewell address, warning against political parties, foreign entanglements, and emphasizing national unity, religion, and morality. Washington returned to Mount Vernon, managed his estates, engaged in land speculation, and operated a distillery. He remained politically active, supporting Federalist policies, and even commanding the army during the quasi-war with France, though without field engagement. On December 14, 1799, Washington died at Mount Vernon from an acute throat infection, likely epiglottitis, complicated by extensive bloodletting. His funeral was held 4 days later, and he was buried at Mount Vernon. Washington inherited and acquired slaves, but gradually opposed slavery privately. Influenced by economic and moral considerations, he freed his own slaves in his will, which were emancipated after Martha Washington's death in 1801. Washington was an Anglican, often referencing God in a general, Enlightenment-inspired sense, and was an active Freemason. He was tall, strong, physically imposing, and a skilled horseman, but suffered from dental problems and other health issues. He and Martha had no children together, but they raised her children and grandchildren. He abstained from excessive drinking, gambling, and profanity. George Washington is widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in American history, praised as first in war, first in peace, and first in the hearts of his countrymen. He became an international symbol of liberation and nationalism as the leader of the first successful colonial revolution. Congress established his birthday as a federal holiday, and he was posthumously appointed General of the Armies in 1976. Biographies like Mason Locke Weems' work created enduring myths about his character, emphasizing honesty and patriotism. Modern historians recognize Washington for integrity, courage, self-discipline, and moral restraint. Though his legacy is complex, his policies toward Native Americans were a mix of diplomacy and land dispossession, and he was criticized for owning enslaved people while advocating gradual emancipation privately. Washington's papers are preserved at Mount Vernon and the Library of Congress. Numerous monuments, places, and institutions honor him, including Washington, D.C., the State of Washington, the Washington Monument, Mount Rushmore, bridges, universities, and U.S. currency and postage stamps. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.